people killed by potholes, 4 washed away by drains overflowing due to torrential rains, and 2 more crushed to death under falling walls. Among them was this 16-year-old teenager whose body was recovered kilometers away from where she was last seen.
Total number of toll as far as rain-related deaths are concerned have risen to 10. Now remember, we did of course report on how 4 people lost their lives due to the killer potholes in the city. Once again, the city civic body had attributed it to due to incessant rain.
Bengaluru is crippled and Bengaluru is angry. But all these voices of distressed citizens are going unheard.
हाँ मैडम, ये सैटरडे से हो रहा है. सैटरडे का जो बरसात पड़ा ना, वो नाइट से ऐसा बहुत तकलीफ हो रहा है. सब ड्राइवर के लिए तकलीफ हो रहा है, कार के लिए तकलीफ हो रहा है, सबका पूरा बहुत तकलीफ हो रहा है इधर पे. एक्चुअली मैं ड्राइवर है, पूरा इंडी छोटा गाड़ी डिजर शिफ्ट है ना, बम्पर 2 व्हीलर 4 व्हीलर 2 व्हीलर से वो स्टॉप हो गया, फिर भी इंजन सीज हुए. अब बाद में मेरा गाड़ी बम्पर से निकल गया.
While citizens fend for themselves, the government expends its energy on preparing for Diamond Jubilee celebrations of the Vidhan Sauda. In fact, taxpayers' money that should have been used for filling these pothole roads and fixing the public infrastructure was instead going to be used for buying gold biscuits for MLAs. But after Miranao questioned this outrageous splurge, the Karnataka government was forced to scrap their plan.
Absolutely, there is no proposal of giving any gold coin to MLAs or silver plates to officers. I do not know where it is.
The Siddaramaiah government also attempted to save face by issuing compensation checks to the deceased. But the sheer indifference was exposed after the Chief Minister attempted to shirk responsibility for the crisis in the state.
ಮಳೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವರು ಪಾಪ ಗೋಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಸತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಬ್ಬರು ಅರ್ಚಕರು ಮಳೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಚ್ಚೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನಿಬ್ಬರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಪಾಪ ಸತ್ತೋಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳ ನೋವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸತ್ತೋದವರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Empty words and rhetoric cannot bring back the lives lost. As Bengaluru suffers, Miranao asks, does the government simply not care about the sufferings of its citizens? Why is the government so laid back? Miranao report.
Why is it that our cities tend to crumble every time it rains? Bangalore has been talking about the fact that its drains and its lakes and its what it calls Rajkalways were running the risk of flooding for a while. But we are now seeing lives being lost. Initially, 4 people died because of potholes. 6 more have now died because of the rains. At what point will the government of Karnataka and those who run the city of Bangalore take responsibility for the city that they are supposed to be running? How can it possibly be that a modern city like Bangalore looks like this after rains? To a point where there were several officers that informed their people and their employees that they attempt to work from home rather than spending time on the road, getting to and from office on roads that look like this. At some point, the government in Karnataka must take responsibility and do more than just offer lip service, which is all they have done so far. S. Harish is the former deputy mayor of Bangalore, belongs to the BJP. Kavitha Reddy, spokesperson of the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee. Srinivas Alavali is a co-founder of the Citizens for Bangalore. V. Ravichandra is the chairman of Feedback Consulting and Civic Evangelist. We also have Commodore G.J. Singh. He's a defense analyst and he's a prominent citizen voice in Bangalore. Sridhar Pabishetty joins us as well, CEO of Namma Bengaluru Foundation. Our phone lines are open for citizens, not just in Bangalore, but anywhere in the country, who believe that regular people should have a voice. They should be better value for our lives. In all of our cities, people are dying for absolutely no reason, and it doesn't seem like there are governments willing to take responsibility for it. Commodore Singh, I'm going to come to you first. This is an unfortunate state of affairs, where the government is almost behaving like this death or this death toll is normal. Right, we seem to have an issue with that audio. Sridhar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, Sridhar, please carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's very unfortunate that this wonderful city is now today facing such a crisis. Yes, of course, it is the heaviest rainfall that we have seen in over a century. But we seem to forget that this city is designed to absorb this kind of rainfall, and we have received not less than 700 millimeters of rain every year for the last century as well. It is very shocking for us to know that, and I would like to share that over 4,000 acres of lakeland has been encroached over the many years, and successive governments have failed to remove these encroachments. And this is what has perpetuated a crisis out of a normal event like rainfall. We live on a ridge. And the water can completely drain out of the city if only we had made proper arrangements of the interconnected lake systems to survive as they were designed over many centuries. So we have brought this upon ourselves, and the governments have actually colluded time and again with the builders and the powerful lobbies, and have allowed this to become a crisis today that so many citizens are suffering. The citizens are really fed up after paying heavy taxes. They pay taxes, they pay cesses, including infrastructure cess, garbage cess, and none of these basic services are being delivered, and on top of it we have debts. We have become a very unsafe city, and why are we not doing enough in terms of doing tangible right things, which is remove the encroachments and ensure that we have the water to drain off from our elevated plateau. And gravity has been phenomenally used by our engineers, by our forefathers over the many years, and we had over 835 lakes in the city of Bengaluru, and today only a handful of them remain unencroached.
Well, Srinivas also joins us in our Bangalore studio. Srinivas, the government has given us constant responses saying this is unprecedented, this amount of rainfall. There was no way we could have been prepared. There was no way we could have planned for this. Do you buy that argument?
Not at all. Anyone with a clear logical mind will not buy that argument. Every year we see this happen. Obviously this year we had much more rain than past year, granted, but the preparedness was nowhere near there. Every year the same thing happens. And incidentally, Faye, this day, October 16th, 2016 was the day of the steel flyover Beda human chain, where 8,000 people came onto the streets. And on that day too, the same concerns were raised. It was not just about the steel flyover, but it's about the crumbling urban infrastructure and the complete apathy of our civic administration. The problem is not government of Karnataka, Faye, like you mentioned. I think the problem is that government of Karnataka is involved at all. We as citizens would like to see government of Karnataka get out of the business of managing Bengaluru. We want the government of Bengaluru to take care of Bengaluru. That would be the BBMP, the Bengaluru Mahanagarapalike. Because the Bengaluru Mahanagarapalike is not empowered, they are not able to make decisions without the interference of the MLAs and the Bengaluru Development Minister, who has no business to come into a city governance, third tier of governance. We have a complete lack of accountability in this city where nobody is responsible for anything anymore. This is the root cause of the system, and when we fix that, when we empower BBMP, when we give them all the right powers and the strength to do what they need to do, I think they will be better prepared. The officers surely know what they need to do. Year after year when this happens, they can certainly plan better for the next year, but because of the political interference and not having a direct control over the matters, with so many different agencies, BESCOM is something else, BWS is something else, so BBMP doesn't have control over all of these agencies that need to keep our streets clear, the drains clear, and the encroachment that Sridhar was talking about out. None of these agencies work with each other, and if they all come under one body, the BBMP, and which is the elected government, all corporators are elected by us. If that is the case, then accountability will increase, and the people at the ward level, the ward committees will start asking questions and monitoring how the roads are being made, so we never have to deal with potholes, but we deal with better laying of roads.
Right. A quick question again to Commodore G.J. Singh. Commodore Singh, do you buy the argument that this rain is unprecedented and there is no way that the government could have planned or prepared for this?
No, not at all. Because I think that monsoon is very cyclic. It comes every year. And at the same time, I must say that this is something which surprises me with the number of excuses which are being offered, right from, contractors to BBMP to the ward, those corporators and things like. We pay taxes to the government of Karnataka. It is the duty, the responsibility, the moral responsibility of the government of Karnataka to ensure we are not paying taxes to the contractors, we are not paying taxes to the BBMP, we are not paying taxes to other agencies. It is the government, the man who rules the roost here, is responsible. The government body is responsible here. And calling it that this time is a monsoon fury, I don't buy this at all. Monsoons are cyclic. To everything there's a season, a time for every matter under the heaven. It comes every year. It is something which we cannot deny. We should be properly prepared. I have been here for the past 30 years. I have seen the roads were not in so bad condition till about 2005, 2007. From 2008-9 onwards, the deterioration started taking place because of the expansion. Expansion began of Bangalore in 1995. Are we so bad in long-term oriented plans? Are we not good enough for the infrastructure to be made in Bangalore? The world intelligentsia, you see, the IT engineers, the world brain comes from Bangalore. Bangalore is known worldwide. It is a world destination. Every citizen of India wants to come to Bangalore to see it. And let me tell you, the first impression that they get is from the roads. The moment they land on the Bangalore airport, whether it is a foreigner or a national, or they land up at the railway station, when they come to the roads are interface between the government and the public. It mirrors the quality, it mirrors the governance of the state. It is very unfortunate that the world, India's best Vishwaraya, that main engineer, comes from this state, Karnataka, and yet we are not able to fix
Let me bring in Kavita Reddy.
Able to fix our roads, we are not able to create the infrastructure. It is most shameful, I must say.
It is shameful. Let me bring in Kavita Reddy. Kavita Reddy represents the state government at this point. Kavita, you joined us a little late, but just to bring you up to speed with what was happening, Sridhar Pabishetty, Srinivas and Commodore Singh all spoke, saying they do not buy the government's argument that there was no way to prepare for this rain. The city of Bangalore should have been prepared for any amount of rain, because that is what it means to be prepared.
Obviously, they will. Obviously, they'll put that argument. But look at this, Fiya. The quantity of rain which has happened in the last 1 month is actually compensated for the entire year. So let's not focus and say that it is not an unprecedented rain. It is a very unprecedented rain, and this kind of rain I don't think so I would have seen in ever since 1986. So there's a huge amount of rain, and it is just across the city and it's happening every day. So there's no time for anybody to even fix the potholes or raise up the issues which are coming up on a daily basis. Even localities which are like BTA built localities, these are prime localities, these are like high profile localities, they are also in the same condition given the quantity of rain which is happening. Aside, I don't think so that can be the excuse for us to make a statement like that, but let's not go away from the fact that this is unprecedented rain. But what is that we are trying to do?
Is it a natural disaster, Kavita Reddy? Is it a natural disaster?
Sorry?
Is this a natural disaster?
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. But what is that we need to prepare for? It is absolutely.
So where is your disaster response? Where is your crisis and disaster response mechanism in the city? If people are dying from rains, shouldn't you have disaster response? Shouldn't you have called in for help? Shouldn't you be reacting to it in that manner? So either Kavita Reddy.
When few of the areas were flooded, a large part of encroachments were removed. Out of the 800 kilometers of stormwater drain,
there can only be two possibilities.
The stormwater drains have already been fixed.
Kavita Reddy.
So one is the stormwater drain fixing. The other one is ensuring.
Would you accept that 10 people have died in the city of Bangalore, Kavita Reddy? There are only two possibilities. One,
there is absolutely no taking back on that. There is no. We are not
one
giving
possibility. You say that it is because of the rains, in which case this is a natural disaster that is causing your citizens to die. Where, Kavita Reddy, would you mind listening to my question, please?
Hyderabad, they're also going through the same. Many of the cities in India itself,
Kavita
whether it is
Reddy.
Mumbai or Hyderabad,
Kavita Reddy, can you hear me?
Which I got a report on, is going through the same process.
Can you hear me?
It's just not about Bangalore, it is also about
Can you hear me?
where there's unprecedented rain.
Can you hear me?
Look at entire Karnataka, there is rain all
Can
through the
you
state, and
hear me?
In fact, it
Kavita
is
avre.
that now the farmers are saying it's way too much.
ಕವಿತಾ ಅವರೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಯ್ಸ್? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Lakes are already full. Most of the lakes are already full. Even places like
Lakes
Kolar
are full?
and Tumkur, where there is absolutely not much of a rain. There are lakes which have been dried up for the last 15 years are full
Okay,
now.
it does seem, of course, that the representative of the government has absolutely no interest in listening to anybody else but herself right now.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me, Kavita? Right.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you. If you are telling me that this is unprecedented rain, and I'm focusing on the fact that 10 people have died on last count in Bangalore, 10 good citizens who should have been alive today are dead. If you're telling me, as a representative of the government, that it rained and 10 people died, is this a natural disaster? In which case, if people are dying because of rains, where is your disaster response? Where are the people on the roads saving those who are drowning? Where is the response that should be available to the citizens of Bangalore when a disaster like this occurs?
Yeah.
If all of that is not on the street, it means you do not read this as a disaster. You read this as something you can actually turn your face away from. Which one is it? It can only be one of the two.
Wrong. The minute Vasu, the priest by name Vasu, the minute it happened in Kurubrali, immediately the force was sent into action. The fire department, the task force was put into action. The BBMP officials are literally working 24/7. So don't say that people are not there. They've gone there, and unfortunately, the two ladies, the daughter and the mother, who lost their lives one of their bodies were found. They have been swung into action. It is not that they have not. They have been working throughout the day. Even today, in spite of the rain, major potholes have been getting filled. And today also, while I was just coming from to your studios, on the way I was at Suvarna, where right in front of their office itself,
Right.
there is
Responses, Siddaramaiah
so there is action happening. Please understand the fact that this is something which is completely
Okay. I just want to quote. I want to quote from the ministers of Bangalore.
In the regular term.
I want to quote from Minister for Bengaluru Development and State Town Planning, Mr. KJ George says, and I quote, "Can I hold an umbrella over the sky so it won't rain and pour? Potholes cannot be fixed properly if it rains continuously. Why are you people making anti-Bangalore statements?" Siddaramaiah Shetty, please respond.
I think we all need to step back and see that this is a crisis that is impacting every Bengalurian one way or the other. Encroachments were removed, but it stopped the moment the encroachment identified was that of the high and mighty. So this government's hand trembles whenever there is a high and mighty involved and their encroachment has to be removed. We should understand that though it's unprecedented rain, August 14th was the first rain that happened. In the first rain itself, Koramangala 3rd block got flooded. And the Koramangala 3rd block has been flooded for at least 9 to 10 times in this span of 50 days. Now we need to ask, what kind of a city are we planning to build, and what is the role and responsibility of the government? For each of these deaths, there is criminal negligence that the government should be held responsible for. The people pay taxes, people trust the government with their lives. Unfortunately, we get these kind of statements telling, I can't hold umbrella over the city. Deaths happen. Maybe they didn't know driving. And I think this is escapist attitude at best. And it's really unfortunate that we see rain as a problem. And just 6 months ago, Faye, we were all discussing what will happen to the water crisis. We don't have enough water to drink. KRS is at dead storage level. Where will the water come for the summer when summer hits Bangalore? We should learn to coexist with water, and that's what Bangalore has been built for over 12 to 15 centuries now. The lakes, the Bengaluru Lake and other lakes have a history of 1,200 years. So people have learned, people have taught us, but unfortunately we are choosing to forget, and government is not doing enough.
Now, I want to bring in Mr. Ravichandra. Mr. Ravichandra, there is a message that I received from EcoSpace. I'm assuming this is RMCR EcoSpace that said stay home, get your employees to work from home as far as possible because there's flooding outside. Now, this is a city that tells the world we are... One second. This is the city that tells the world we are world class, that we can handle world class business. We can't handle a little bit of rain, Mr. Ravichandra.
Yeah, I was there at that place. Can I just give a small rebuttal on that, please? Yeah.
My question is Mr. Ravichandra. I'll come back to you to respond to it. Mr. Ravichandra, please go ahead.
So the thing really here is, we do have a challenge in Bangalore. It's very unfortunate the deaths that have happened. We definitely need sensitivity in dealing with it. But I think the starting point has to be that none of us needs to be in denial. We have a problem that affects us all, and we need to find a way out of it. In the context of your Infosys thing that you quoted, that they're asking people to work from home, to my mind, it is part of a practical solution, because rather than have them navigate the treacherous roads at this point of time, if there is scope to work from home, I think it's part of the overall composite solution. So I would actually see that as something that a company is doing proactively, rather than putting their employees at risk under these conditions. It's a fact that the rains of the last 2-3 weeks have been unprecedented. It's a fact. But I think we are underprepared on disaster readiness and a protocol to deal with disaster when it happens. We are in this mess for a variety of reasons. We have never respected nature's lines as we have grown in the city. We have built on low-lying areas. Our road designs have been historically bad. The implementation has been terrible. The maintenance is another challenge. But frankly, I really think that unless we go back to the drawing board and fix this whole issue, this is going to repeat itself. And to my mind, the main thing is not to be in denial. And innovative methods like saying that, look, if you can work from home, I think is a smart thing to do. Faye? Hello?
All right. I know that Kavita wants to respond. Kavita, go ahead.
A couple of things. It is very unfortunate that I myself and Sridhar were on a debate on a removal of encroachment, that he was vehemently opposing, removal of encroachment just about a year ago. So he should be thinking about what he's saying now in a very different context. One. Second thing is regarding that eco space. The eco space flooding has happened because the Solkere lake has overflown. And, most of the lakes in Bangalore, including the Begur lake, which Sridhar was referring to, has overflown. The fact of the matter remains that these lakes have breached purely because there is excess of rain, and I think in fact even our lake, which is Agra Lake, has just breached in just a span of 3 days rain, so it's overflowing even now. So the fact of the matter is that yes, this is an unprecedented rain, and I do agree to the fact that yes, we should be prepared, but I don't think so any government would be prepared to an extent of this kind of a rain which happens.
No, hang on.
Year rain is happening in a span of 15 days, and also the fact that since it is raining continuously, you can't also take up any kind of...
No, hang on. Kavita Reddy, I heard you out. Now, while this rain might be unusual, it might be unusual and unprecedented for the city of Bangalore, and I keep coming back to this. It is not unusual and unprecedented for other cities. And be so as it may, the city of Bangalore should have a disaster response system where you are prepared for unusual rain. You cannot turn around and say, oh, it rained unusually, so there's nothing we can do. We're just all sitting around and drinking coffee and waiting for the rain to stop. That cannot be your answer, because people will keep dying. If you keep offering this, what have you done in the last few days other than make a plan to hand out gold biscuits to your own MLAs and MLCs when they haven't obviously done their jobs?
Nor the minister has said so. That is not an answer. Neither the minister or the government had said so.
I have it on record.
Full time, be it the mayor or the BBMP officials or the fire department, everybody there on a war footing basis and every day all through the localities. And also for the fact that yes, Mr. George is very right when he says that we are not unable to fill the potholes right now because the quantity of wet is so high that it comes out again, and the same.
Why were the potholes there to begin with?
It rains again. Yes, that
Why
is
were the potholes there to begin with?
But to say that there is nobody taking care of, there is nobody addressing.
Why were the potholes there to begin with?
Erroneous statement.
Kavita Reddy, why were the potholes there to begin with? I agree, nobody can fix the pothole while it's raining, but why was the pothole there to begin with?
Fia, you yourself tweeted saying that the roads of Bangalore are good. Remember your tweet? When
Four roads of Bangalore. I'll tell you which ones. St. Mark's Road, MG Road, Brigade Road.
And get away with it. You yourself said that. Yes, the pothole.
What are you
most
saying?
Of the filling, whether it is Kormangala
Kavita
area
Reddy,
or the Central
I
Business
tweeted about
District
MG
or
Road.
the area,
People have died in potholes, and I think I'm finding out what the problem with the government of Bangalore is, because it obviously has a complete inability to listen, and you only hear things that you want to hear. You're not even willing to listen to my questions.
It started raining continuously, and whatever work was done just got wasted. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, that these roads were worked upon, whether it is the major road works, whether it is areas like Kormangala or Jayanagara or Bommanalli, most of these areas where you have more problems, these roads were worked upon. And
well, the work was terrible then, Kavita Reddy, and if you think you can outshout me on my show, I'm sorry, but you cannot. The work you did was awful. Stop, Kavita Reddy, stop.
Is the next step which they are taking up.
Stop.
Sorry.
Obviously, the work that was done was terrible work if it crumbled after one rain.
Can I come in here?
Please, Commodore Singh, go ahead.
It was not one rain, it is continuous rain for 15 days. And most of
you see, I want to tell Kavita Reddy, if she...
That was the condition.
Madam, can we also come in? Can we also
Ms. Reddy,
speak?
please have the courtesy to listen to my other panelists, otherwise I'm going to...
Madam.
Kavita Reddy. 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 Commodore Singh, go ahead.
Can we have our say? Yeah, I just want to remind Kavita Reddy that the Bangalore has emerged to be the 5th metropolitan of this country after Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai and Bombay. It is the most modern metro. It has just been built in the past 15 to 20 years. The roads are supposed to be most modern, but we find they are the roads of the lowest quality. Tar probably used is very little. I fail to understand as to why can't we think beforehand in foresight to fix up, to take into account on board these problems. I agree there is an excessive rain this year. It is excessive, but why are we able to cope up? Why our roads and our drainage systems are not able to cope up with this excessive rain? Being most modern city in the whole country, when the technology of making roads have far more enhanced what it was a century or 50 years back. Why are we, that's what I was trying to bring in here, that we are the people here who are supposed to be very intelligent people. The Bangalore is the pool of the brain of India and the world. You have the IT engineers all over the world, from Google to NASA and everywhere. We talk of our Indian scientists and our Indian IT engineers. But at home we can't fix up such small minor problems which we have to deal with day-to-day life. We are not able to cope up with the excessive rain, our drainage systems, our roads, our people are dying, the whole system is crumbling. I mean, we have to think on an elevated level. We can't just always talk about the vote banks and the shifting blame on others or blame game. This is not the answer. Tell me, I want to ask these people that when you go to a restaurant, if the food is bad, you pay to owner, you complain to owner, you don't, owner cannot come up and say cooks have to be charged with criminal charges, they are not working properly, they are not doing their problem. This is the problem of the government and not the public's problem.
Absolutely. In fact, my simple point, Commodore Singh, is this, and
Bangaloreans are facing their own problems.
My simple point, my limited point is just this that I want to offer on the show today. Any big metropolitan city, and Bangalore is a big metropolitan city by every yardstick, You need to be prepared for terror attacks. You need to be prepared for natural disasters. You need to be prepared for large plane crashes. You need to be prepared for disasters of any level. If you can't handle a little bit of rain, which is unusual, it is not flood level. You can't handle a little bit of rain. Remember that there are other cities in this country that use pumps to pump out the water from the city when it rains. Where are your pumps? What solutions have you brought in? What measures have you put into place? If you are going to use the rains as an excuse day after day after day to cover up your own inefficiency, then you must have had some sort of disaster relief, some sort of plan in place for when it rains. You have nothing. You have done nothing. The only plan that the government has come up with in the last week is to award itself gold biscuits for doing nothing. And that you should be ashamed about. You should be ashamed about. Padma's on the phone line from Bangalore. Padma, go ahead. Padma, can you hear me? Professor Janakarajan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello. I'm Professor Janakarajan calling from Chennai.
Yes, sir.
I've been listening to Kavita Reddy's arguments. Actually, it's very, very depressing. She is just blindly supporting the establishment, saying that this is a disaster and therefore we better suffer. I think it's a very, very bad argument. In fact, we had in 2015 exactly the same kind of a situation, and then they called it the storm of the century and the flood of the century, and so forth. Therefore, many people have lost lives, and that's what they justified. But then the very next year, 2016, was called a historic drought year. I think this is absolutely shameful. City like Bangalore, with about a 10 million population plus, and boasting itself of the IT headquarters of the country or even South Asia.
Yes.
If you cannot have a disaster management plan, that's absolutely shameful. I would like to ask you one fundamental question. In what way the Bangalore city is really prepared? The preparedness does not come after the occurrence of the rainfall or after the occurrence of the flood. We should be prepared all through the year. And if you are not prepared all through the year, then there is no question of resilience. The city is not a resilient city. Therefore, I think you cannot fool around people by saying, look, we are prepared, there are fire services and so on and so forth. Where is your disaster management cell? What are they doing? What are their activities?
Absolutely.
I just want to know what kind of a blueprint or what kind of a plan do they have, at least for the next flood. In 2005, there was a very big flood in Bangalore. What lessons did you learn since then? I think these are absolutely very simple.
Yes, very, very valid questions, Professor. Thank you for calling us. Babu Rao on the phone line from Bangalore. Babu Rao, go ahead.
Ma'am, good evening and thank you for providing this opportunity. And it is wonderful always to participate in urban debate because generally the people together come with solutions. I have a request to people like Kavita Reddy when they come. As a ruling party, they should listen to the voice of the people. I find this pathetically falling in any debates when anybody comes from there. And it is not that they come with lung power. My request to Faye, if you really want to make this debate with solutions, get people who do not have lung power to speak, get engineers. I am an engineer, 65 years I've been living in Bangalore. I've lived in different parts. And I'll tell you a small story, which Kavita should be ready to listen. There are many parts in Bangalore where the same rains have lasted. And I will not name the people, the netas whose front of the house is still so protected. Okay, I am living in a very good locality called JP Nagar. Please visit this JP Nagar. You will find that the roads are not affected. Madam, it is the same rain that has affected throughout the city. Why is that? In some parts of the city, the roads can sustain. And I will give you one more example. If you have heard of, and if you have traveled with Kavita to a place called NAL and CSIR, road doesn't exist. Do you know what these institutes are? These are the premier institutes attached to HAL. Go behind HAL, you will see the road doesn't exist. It's a mud road. And again, you see, madam, in the video that is being shown, a patch of the road is getting affected. Remaining portion of the roads are shiny. Why? That means the quality. 4,000 crores were sanctioned, only 1,500 crores have been spent.
Have been spent. Yes. Very well said, Babu Rao. Padma on the phone line from Bangalore. Padma, go ahead.
See, madam, please, I congratulate you for taking this. See, I have been born and brought up here. I live in a locality called Vishweshwaram Basungudi, which was built during Vishweshwaraya's time. Here, the same rain has come. It doesn't clock here, and we don't find those floods, everything. It's not a natural calamity. Rains are more, I do agree. But the new areas where have been built, it's been horrible. And none of the government machineries have visited that place. And if you travel, our auto driver says, the people who travel from Cottonpet, he'll tell me, if suppose a pregnant woman sits in my auto, by the time I reach the other circle, she would have delivered the baby. That's the state of affairs. And none of them are forward. And I think Dinesh Gundurao comes every time on your channel. Tell him, please, his locality, where he represents, the Gandhinagar and Chickpet area, they're the horrible areas where not even once in these last 5 years, not even one road has been repaired. I just want to ask him what has happened to all your MP, MLA and infrastructure funds. And
absolutely, you know, Padma, that's a really that's a good way to put it for the ministers, at least, who come out of Bangalore. KJ George, for example, who comes out of Banaswadi. Look at the state of Banaswadi. Look at the state of the roads. Look at the illegal parking, the illegal construction that's happening there. What a mess Banaswadi is. At least look after your own constituency and set a good example so that other people can follow the example that you have set. There are shanties coming up in every open plot. Those people are defecating on the streets. There's garbage at the corner of every street. Nobody's taking responsibility for the city of Bangalore. And if Kavita Reddy's argument is to be believed, that no work can happen during the rains, please tell me then why you are still digging at Tin Factory where you're building the metro. That work has not stopped. If you can continue that work when the rain is on, why can't you actually desilt and remove the blocks that's flooding? Why can't you put in pumps and pump the water out of the areas where it is waterlogging? Srinivas, go ahead. Srinivas.
Earlier you asked why are the potholes there in the first place. I think it's important to ask that question. It doesn't matter whether it's Dinesh Gundurao or KJ George. Everywhere there's going to be potholes and everywhere worse things are going to happen. The real reason is the way that the greed and corruption are eating away at our city administration. Today the Bangalore corporation has 198 corporators. A majority of them are BJP. Today Bengaluru has 28 MLAs, a majority of them are BJP. Most of the MPs of Bengaluru are BJP. This goes on to tell you that whether it is Congress or BJP or Janata Dala, the problem is the same because all of them are exactly the same. The corporator that earns a salary of 7,500 rupees a month, that's the salary of a corporator. And to get that job, these people from these three parties spend anywhere from 2 to 3 crores in an election, in a corporate election, to get a job that gives them 7,500 rupees. So now we got to ask ourselves, why are they spending tens of crores of rupees to get a job that gives them 7,500 rupees a month? So there, the answer to your potholes, the answer to the garbage, everything I believe honestly is found in that one single question. The moment we change that, the moment we are able to make the corporation elections, the BBMP elections clean and get all the elements out of there, whether it is the MLAs or corporators, they are all the same and they're all in bed with the corporators, whether it is the garbage transport mafia or the water tanker mafia or the road contractor mafia, they're deeply entrenched into the political system. So whether it is Siddaramaiah or Devendra Fadnavis or any other great administrator, they will not be able to do anything because these elements are deeply entrenched in our system. And the good people in the BBMP, the engineers and the hard-working people, and I agree and I see this all the time, that so many wonderful people are working day and night, including the traffic police. And many cases when I'm on the street, I see people are working hard. But the problem is so huge and so deeply entrenched that these hundreds of crores, 28 crores, this means nothing to them because the annual budget itself is 10,000 crores for BBMP, out of which some 800 crores is given for stormwater drains year after year. And the way they make the road contracts happen is it's a guaranteed job for every year. So there is no incentive to make good roads at all, because if they make good roads, who is going to give them another contract? And if you make a bad road, there is no disincentive. Nobody is going to kick you out of being a corporator. So you will continue doing the job. After all this mess that happened, and unfortunately people died this year, and I can't think there can be bigger crime in terms of civic administration. Any other country, heads would would have rolled, people would have been fired. Not one single person has been suspended.
Nobody's taking responsibility. Actually, Kavita Reddy, when someone dies, there is a case that is filed. I want to know who is the prime accused for the deaths of these 10 people, 10 citizens, tax-paying citizens of Bangalore who have died. Who is the prime accused in these murders?
I'm sure you must have read the statement of our Chief Minister. The pothole death, when it happened, the in-charge officer has been fixed the responsibility. But in case of others, whether it is a stormwater drain issue or the building falling off, I think we should really look at from a natural disaster perspective and not really from a perspective of an administration failure. Because if there is a wall which falls, definitely it has to also to do with the construction quality and all that is, or it could be an old building. For example,
so then who built the wall? Who, if you're saying the problem is construction quality, who built the wall?
Kurubarahalli, for example, in fact, Public TV did a story on that. The Kurubarahalli, the entire colony is right on the stormwater drain, and these are the older parts. These are the newer parts which have got become part of Bengaluru in a way. They're just right on the stormwater drain.
So who's responsible?
And how would you do that if you can't remove the encroachments, because these are old houses and people are staying there and there will be an opposition to it.
So some
of these
the young
are
girl
issues.
that died just because she was walking around the wall.
Are on it technically on this, but
no. Kavita Reddy, you're doing a very good job of trying to pass the blame, but someone needs to take responsibility when people die. And the problem in our cities is that nobody takes responsibilities. These are looked at as accidents. Oh, how sad, how unfortunate. There's nothing unfortunate about this. This is corruption. This is bad governance. This is bad city management. This is what it is. Someone needs to take responsibility. Why can't it be the Chief Minister? Why can't the Chief Minister take responsibility?
No, if your old house is very old, and in case of Ijipura or in case of Kurubralli where the wall has fallen, it is an old house and it couldn't hold on to the rain.
So isn't it the job, okay, if that is your argument, it is the job of the municipality to check how strong these houses are and give notices to people who are living in houses that run the risk of falling in rains. Do you not know that? Do you not know that?
1 minute. 1 minute. You cannot do it for individual houses on a houses which are already there.
You can collect taxes for individual houses. You can collect taxes on every individual house. You can collect taxes on every individual house. You have Kata papers on every individual house. Why can't you check for the viability of the buildings of every individual house? How are you making
you will
this?
not be able to do it.
Why not? I will not be able to do it, or the BBMP will not be able to do it.
Commercial building where there has to be renewal of licenses which happens.
Do you collect property taxes from all individual independent houses in Bangalore?
Listen, Fia, you can't do it for individual houses.
Why not?
If it is a building where...
Why not?
Every year you can check, and these are houses.
No, but what do you mean you can't do it for individual houses?
You cannot check for these houses. That is not an excuse.
Siddaramaiah Shetty. This is a complete. I'm sorry, Kavita Reddy. If you're going to come in here and make an argument, you should at least familiarize yourself with the workings of city management and city council and the local.
Please differentiate the cases. Please differentiate the cases is what I'm trying to tell you. One, of course, which has happened.
Calm down. Kavita Reddy, I will give you allowance for the fact that you might not have fully read up and you don't know the workings of the BBMP. If you want to differentiate the cases, I'm sorry, I'm responding to the arguments that you gave me. You said that the wall was old, you said the house was old, you said it's not possible. I'm telling you it is possible. Siddaramaiah Shetty, go ahead.
See, the BBMP has the responsibility of checking for the well-being or the goodness of the house. It is an implicit part of the responsibility of the urban local body to identify the old and dilapidated buildings who are not ready, who are not worthy enough, and suggest measures. This happens on a continual basis. Now let's...
Please allow the other panelists to speak.
Kavita, let's understand.
Everybody heard you speak.
Kavita,
please allow the other panelists to speak.
Let's understand what is our position on the encroachment removal. If you are not clear about why and what we said at that point of time, we can debate it on another day. It's important the government looks at not giving lopsided treatment. They are very happy to go and demolish the houses of the poor, but they don't have the hands to go and demolish the houses of the rich. And this lopsided, this kind of dual standards is what is very, very important for us to understand. But let's come back to the issue of the responsibility of the government. The governments have continuously wanted to push the Akrama Sakrama bill, wherein violations wanted to be legalized for the payment of a fee. Why can't we understand that there are rules, there are planning rules, and the planning has to be put out at the city level and enforced? Now, when the government is always in denial, the government wants to side with the builder mafia and the contractor mafia. See, even to this day, last week when the deaths happened, a commitment was given by BBMP telling that over the weekend we'll put out the details of the contractors who are negligent, who allowed these kind of bad conditions of the roads. We don't see that list out available in the public domain. The government is continuously shielding the contractor mafia and the builder mafia, and no wonder the citizens are really, really worried. This spans across governments, but it's important that we understand that we have to accept the fact that we have a governance failure in the city, and we have to start taking steps that will fix these fundamental problems. Have a plan, just like how Padma mentioned. How come Vishweshwara, VV-Puram is not getting flooded, but new layouts are getting flooded? Because you put all the rule in the air. You don't really follow any rule, any planning, and that's when disasters like this happen.
On this channel, we focus a lot on city planning, and we focus on city planning in all the cities. We've taken up Hyderabad and Delhi, Chennai, Pune, Bangalore, and Mumbai. My point is, we can sit around and talk about planning for as long as we want to. When people start to die, when people start to lose lives, and government behaves like it is nothing, that, oh, you know, if we're going to wait for the rain to stop, then we'll start fixing it. How many people are going to die in the meantime? How many people are going to die in the meantime? Which means that you think that these lives are worth nothing. That there's no value for the lives of the people who are falling in the potholes. There's no value for the lives of people whose cars are floating away and they're drowning, they're getting washed away into the drains. There's absolutely no value. You've come up with no emergency plan. You've come up with no ideas, no solutions. The only thing that has come out of the government is an idea to gift themselves gold biscuits. And I think that's completely unacceptable. We should not, in this day and age, in cities like Mumbai and Bengaluru and Delhi, put up with this sort of government. This sort of government is a slap in our faces, and we should, when the voting comes up, tell them what we think of their ideas and tell them what we think of how much they value or devalue our lives, because this is what the government thinks of us. We work so hard. We pay our taxes. This is the same government that will come to every little house, every little jhobarpatti and collect money for taxes or for something else. But you can't come and check if these houses are going to fall during the rains. You can't make an emergency plan. You can't put a pump and pump the water out. You can't make sure that the drains are clear and that the water can actually pass through. You can't come up with any sort of solution. But we have to continue paying taxes. How is that fair? Srinivas, go ahead.
Faye, can I come in? Faye, so things are pretty bleak out here, and I would request the government and all parties, in fact, this is something that all parties need to come out together, and they need to take public in confidence and speak with empathy. First, talk clearly, communicate clearly. Don't make excuses. It makes people angry to hear the kind of excuses that we heard today from the spokesperson of Congress Party. It's unfortunate that, you know, there's all kinds of excuses we put out instead of
there is no excuses, it's facts.
I'm saying it's not too late now.
It's not too
late now. Let the chief minister and the mayor and the opposition party leader all come out, hold a public meeting, say that we are in trouble. We need public support. We need all of us to work together to get out of this mess. Let the ward committees function. Ask the ward committees to take ownership of the local areas. Decentralize the problem solving. I am pretty sure when people come together with the government agencies, we can find solutions, and that will become the model for future as well. Because whether it is chief minister or mayor, nobody can take care of Bangalore. It is too big, too huge for any one individual or 10 officers to take care of. Let more and more people be part of the solution and not be screaming about the problem. Yes. Let them be on the other side.
Let me bring in S. Harish. S. Harish joins us now. S. Harish was former deputy mayor of Bangalore. S. Harish, what is the problem in the city of Bangalore that we are losing lives?
Yes,
and how many more lives are we expected to lose at this rate?
Madam, our our Honorable District in charge Minister, Mr. George, when the Meteorological Department predicted we are going to get more rain, said we are more equipped than New York City, and we see people on the outer ring road climbing onto tractors from BMTC bus and going to saving their lives. And I see this District in charge Minister and the Honorable Chief Minister carrying 5 lakh rupees check with them everywhere. Whoever dies, the life of a common man is only 5 lakh. He gives 5 lakh rupees compensation to whoever dies. And they have just put 1 lakh rupees and put a small slab there, the life of the priest would have been saved. And above that, 800 crore rupees they say they have sanctioned, they have work order has been issued to do the remodeling of stormwater drains across Bengaluru city. And who are those contractors? 600 works, 5 contractors, 5 packages. All the 5 contractors are blacklisted, and above that they are paying 21% above, that is 168 crore rupees more to the contractors. Whose money is that? It is our money, the taxpayer money. I was hearing, you are telling from the Jopudi wala to the top multi-storied people are paying taxes. For whom they are paying taxes? For what they are paying taxes? To give them basic infrastructures, good facilities, and they tell we have 33,000 potholes. I am ashamed to say that. How did they count 33,000 potholes? What was the Chief Minister doing?
Sir,
because he is our district in charge minister also. He is in charge of Bangalore city also. And they have not given a single paisa to any BJP MLA,
Sir,
not to the 101 corporators who got elected from BJP. That is the data in Bangalore. See, I tell you, all the money is given through Nagaratana grants, bypassing the corporation, bypassing the standing committee, bypassing the mayor. Then why do you want a corporation there? Close it, lock that down, and you run the show.
Why did Mr. Arvind Nimbavali tweet about 175 crores he has been received for the revival of his entire constituency? Arvind Nimbavali himself tweeted just 2 weeks ago that 174 crores. He even did a program.
What for you have given that 175 crores? What for? People are washing away. There is no road. You show me a single kilometer of road without potholes. Can you show me a single kilometer? You are claiming that you have released 22,000 crores. Show me 1 kilometer of road which is free of potholes. All the stormwater drains are filled with seeds. And the TVC report gives the 10 crore rupees misappropriation has happened.
Kavita Reddy, what is the government's plan? One second. Harish, just calm down. Everybody take a deep breath and calm down. Kavita Reddy, I want to understand. We cannot, like KJ George so eloquently in his great style said, I can't hold an umbrella under for the full city and make sure it doesn't rain. Let's grant him that. What plan does the government of Karnataka have?
How to ride vehicles to come onto the road. That's what George said.
What plan does the government of Karnataka have to make sure that no other citizen dies starting tomorrow morning? What is your plan?
Fia, there are 3 steps
they don't have
which is being taken.
They don't have any plan because all they want is to make money for the next election.
If you make it political, I will have to make a political statement.
I have no interest in your politics. Please answer the question.
The 3 steps which is happening is the stormwater drain remodification. 40% of the work has been completed. The completion of the rest of it is happening.
When will it be done?
Point number 2 which has happened. Ma'am, it is a process. It will take about 6 to 7 months. If the rains
tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning.
No,
how will you make sure that nobody dies tomorrow morning?
For a stormwater drain to be remodeled, madam.
Second thing.
See, the stormwater drain, if it has to be remodeled, it should start
one at a time, please.
Not somewhere pick and choose doing
Harish, Mr. Harish, I'll give you time to rebut what she's saying. Go ahead. What is the second thing?
If it has to be remodeled.
One second, please. Mr. Harish, I'll come to you to rebut. Please allow her to finish her answer. Kavita Reddy, go ahead.
That the tender shore roads are getting extended to all the older parts of Bengaluru, which means that the tender shore road extension will also happen in such a way.
How long will that take?
We will give you that. We will give you that credit. We will extend that. We are okay with that. We will give credit
by
to
tomorrow morning
because he was the first one who approved it. We are okay with that. Don't make that statement. We are not politicizing roads.
Why are you claiming that it is your project?
Tomorrow morning.
The project it is yours.
Tomorrow morning.
You are the one who protested against tender shore roads.
Sir, it is your roads only. Mr. Sadanand Gowda approved it. We are okay with telling saying
Mr.
that.
Harish and Ms. Reddy, I have zero interest in your politics.
What you have done for you?
You know, to the citizens of Bangalore, I think this is a very important point in this discussion where you realize that your politicians and my politicians would rather sit across and bicker about politics and who takes credit rather than take responsibility and make a plan for how none of us will die tomorrow morning. In any other city, in any other part of the world, there would be a... Kavita Reddy!
Can I finish?
No, you cannot finish because you're talking nonsense to me. And I'm sick of it.
I'm just telling 3 points and you don't want to listen to all the 3 points.
Tell me your 3 points. Tell me your 3 points.
Let me finish.
How will you make sure that people don't die tomorrow morning? Do you not understand my question? You're telling me about tender shore roads that are going to take 8 months to complete? Tomorrow morning, can you give me a guarantee that no Bangalorean will die tomorrow morning?
8 months is the stormwater drains. Hear me out first. The first one is stormwater drains, which will take a little more, which is about 8 months for the full completion of it. The second one is the tender shore projects. The projects are getting extended to all the major roads and all the older cities of it. The third one is the white topping roads will get extended so that we don't have this kind of a pothole disasters in the major roads. Excluding the ward roads and all the major roads will have white topping. These are the 3 steps which has been taken to ensure the road infrastructure is taken care of and the drain infrastructure is taken care of.
Kavita Reddy, in any other city, in any other part of the world, there would be a war room created inside of the government offices where people would be sitting around day and night saying, how do we make sure we keep our citizens from falling into drains? Yes, we screwed up. We made a lot of bad mistakes. Now water is filling in the city. People are dying. 10 people are too many. How do we make sure 10 doesn't become 11 tomorrow morning? None of the things
How do you know that the BBMP lifeline, the lifeline is not working?
Because you have not told me any solution that you are working on. I have spent the last 1 hour asking you that question and you do not have an answer for me. I have asked you that question repeatedly. You have no answer. Tomorrow, you expect the citizens of Bangalore to get out of their houses again and go to office, to go about their lives with no guarantee that any of them will live to see the end of the day. And you have made absolutely no contingency plan. You are not working in a war room. You have no disaster relief. You don't have pumping water out of the city. Citizens are actually saving each other. Look at this visual where citizens have gone into the water to pull that woman out of her car. You have made zero attempt. What you are doing is walking around with checks for 5 lakh rupees in your pockets to hand it out to people who die because you are expecting people to die. That is the value that you have for our lives. Is that not true? Do you have any plan? Is there a war room where people are trying to make sure that nobody dies tomorrow? I've asked you this question 4 times. I'm asking you for the 5th time.
You should let me answer. BBMP as well as the fire department as well as all the departments are working in coordination and they're working 24/7 for immediate disaster relief. Whatever is happening on a day-to-day basis, they're addressing it on a day-to-day basis. They're leaving no stone.
What are they doing? What stones are they not unturning? Tell me, what are they doing specifically? Tell me what is their solution?
The plan is what I've already explained to you. Everybody from BBMP, including the commissioner and the mayor, are literally working.
What are they working on?
So are the officers. Wherever there is an issue,
but what are they doing?
It as early as possible.
But what are they doing?
In all the locations, with the support of the police department, with the support of the fire.
What are they doing? Kavita Reddy, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
NDRF.
What are they doing? ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? What are they doing there? Please tell me. What are they doing?
We are addressing the issues on a daily basis.
How are you addressing the issues?
Everywhere, every.
Look at the visuals coming out of the city of Bangalore. How are you addressing these issues?
They're clearing. They're helping people.
Commodore Singh, are you buying any of this?
You don't want to.
Yeah, I looking at the visuals. Just a minute. Looking at the visual, I am appalled that the city which used to be called a paradise, a pensioner's paradise, which is known and famous for being a garden city, its descent to the garbage city is a very serious matter. I think this has to be considered. We need now, the government has to start thinking about the answers. All this while, they are talking about the problems. The time has come when they should start talking the answers. If they are working, the result should be visible on the ground. But nothing is visible on the ground. I therefore will request the government that they should work in order in a way that something should be visible on ground as well, on the root level. Therefore, I think the time has come. We have to revise our thinking, our approach, put our heads together and try to bring back the status of the city to what it was as a garden city, as a pensioners' paradise, rather than its being and lying in the name as garbage cities. It is very unfortunate, and I think we should continue to talk about it, and this is the best way that we can address to the problems which are being faced by the Bengalurians.
Srinivas, do you think that there is enough of a disaster response happening on the ground?
Certainly not. After the first deaths that were reported, if the government should have gone into an extremely conservative mode of how to take care of things going forward. Not a single death is warranted for rain and potholes and things like it. A building collapse might be a slightly different issue, but in terms of the disasters on the road, that is completely inexcusable, and a big apology must be given by the Chief Minister and the Bangalore Development Minister and the BBMP authorities to the people of Bengaluru. Instead of coming up with excuses, things will go a long way if they begin with a sincere, heartfelt apology. Look, we've screwed up. We can work together. We can make things better now, and let's come together. Like you were suggesting, Faye, a war room should have been set up and made it transparent. Let the people report out of the war room. Let there be war rooms in every BBMP division. There are 7 of them, and like people have reported on your show, the issues are different in different parts of the city. In the newly coming up areas, the issues are much worse.
Srinivas, in fact, I want to get your reaction on something, Srinivas. We had Kavita Reddy tell us, how do you know that the BBMP helplines are not working? Now, if I go to the BBMP website, contact us, you can only go to the Worshipful Mayor Facebook page. You can follow the mayor on Twitter. For any assistance or grievance, use the app, it says. So imagine if my house is flooding, the walls are following, I'm expected to download an app. Now there is another website called BangaloreCitizenMatters.in, in which there is a list of numbers of the BBMP office. These are control room emergency helpline numbers. 221-00031 is the first number. I am dialing this number right now. Not even going through.
Dial the phone number shift agudalide. Dial kiya gaya number sthanantaran ke liye adheen hai. The number which you have dialed is under shift.
That is phone number 1. The second number 08022100032.
This telephone number does not exist.
Now, I have a couple of minutes left on the show. I could continue to dial all of these general control room numbers. And I've already dialed 4 of them, and the response is largely the same. Should I continue to dial them? There's a number for Bomanhalli, one for Yelahanka, one for South Control. Srinivas, go ahead.
Don't waste your time, Faye. It's too precious, and in that time, maybe you can do something more productive than that. The grievance redressal in BBMP is absolutely shambles. Forget about the people that have access to technology and apps and the Twitter and all of that, but the people that are most affected by rains. For some of us, the rains means your car is stuck, the basement is flooded, and these are first world problems, you can say. But for many other people, it is water in their bedroom, their kitchen is submerged, they can't cook anymore. What grievance redressal are we talking about? Who are they going to call? They don't even have a phone. Forget the app. They can't have make a basic voice call. They don't have a charger to charge their phone because there's no electricity. So this is the kind of situation that we are in. Let's remember that while we are a global city with 1.2 crore population, we also have lots and lots of slums in our city. And when these disasters as rains happen, the people in the slums are the worst affected. The corruption always impacts the poorest of society more than anybody else. And we are talking about cars and offices, and we are not even mentioning the plight of these citizens. So where is the grievance redressal? This is why it needs to be decentralized. The ward office is the closest that people can have. The BESCOM office is near. People know where the BESCOM office is, where the BBMP office is. If the grievance redressal is integrated at a local level like that, people have a better chance of helping each other. If I notice some problem, I can walk up to somebody and tell them, look, I think that there is a wire dangling. I think there is a house that is about to collapse, a wall about to fall. But there is no such information available. Those things are not clear. When you go up there, there's nobody available. They're running around doing other things. So it's important to streamline these things and get the governance down to the ward level, to the street level.
I have a couple of people who've held on the phone line for a while. Captain Jaspal, go ahead. Captain Jaspal, can you hear me? All right, Anand from Bangalore has been holding for a while. Anand?
Hi, it's Faye. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it was, thank you so much for this debate. And I just have to ask Kavita Reddy, ma'am, with all due respect, a couple of things. One is, I understand that the potholes, the rain is incessant and you really can't fix the roads right now because of the rain. You know what? I will sympathize with you. But it started raining from June or July. What happened to the potholes before that? The rain did not cause the potholes. The rain has made the potholes worse and invisible. The potholes were there even before that. What's the excuse for not ensuring that the potholes are fixed? What's the excuse for that? A. B, if you are saying that your things are working 24/7, they are working and fixing everything, there was waterlog in the morning in Old Madras Road or where we could not go to office. By the way, the visuals in the evening also shows that there's waterlog in the evening as well. So when you say they're working round the clock 24/7, wonder where they are working, because those issues are not fixed. I really don't care the data that you have about how much BJP the crores and the Congress the crores and these contractors. Unbelievable, but I don't see you having data right now as to where the water pumps are, pumping out water from where, which areas, and you're not able to answer. Tomorrow when Faye asked you a question, you can guarantee that no Bangalore will die. You don't have data to say no, they will not die because of XYZ reasons. You're saying 8 months down the line you'll fix all the issues. What happened 8 months prior? Why are you seeing this now and then trying to fix it? Why the firefighting? Why not effective, efficient government which forecasts all these problems?
Right. That's very well put, Anand. Unfortunately, I've run out of time, but we will keep a very close eye on the city of Bangalore. On Mirror now, this, according to us, is national news. When we start to crumble and we're not able to save people, we've lost 10 people already. It will not be 11. We will come down very hard on the government of Karnataka if we lose one more life in Bangalore. You might not think these people are of any value, but we do. This channel puts the citizen first. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll talk about whether or not it's really compulsory for you to link your Aadhaar card, as those annoying messages get more and more frequent. That's on the other side. Don't go anywhere.